Hey everybody, I'm Tom. Welcome to Epic Brew. So Griefhelm came out today and I wanted to post a video going over a few tips and tricks of how to get better at the game because it's not the easiest game to pick up and play. I played, well, hopefully you saw my previous first look at video where I, kind of embarrassed myself a little bit with my swordsman skills, but I've played the game for quite a bit of time since then. So I'm here today to give you a rundown of some handy tips that I didn't know when I made the first video. So if you're looking for specific tips, check the video description. I'll have timestamps to take you directly to specific tips, or you can just hang out and watch the whole video, which I appreciate, and you'll get the whole shebang if you do that. So the first thing that I want to point out is that you're going to want to practice a lot in this game, and the campaign is not the easiest place to practice because each level is kind of a randomly generated thing where you're fighting enemies and you never really know what's coming. That's just how the campaign is, and that's fine. But you're going to want to go to the encounter section, and here you can set up rules, which teams which, how long you play, if they take extra damage, friendly fire. That's only if you have like AI companions, which I say don't play with AI, but more on that in a minute. And equipment stats, whatever. You can set it to whatever you want. Skirmish, free-for-all, horde, tug-of-war. You pick what you want. And when you play this, here, I'll keep going here. Let's just pick a guy here. You can unlock all sorts of different cool armor and stuff over time, which I'll explain in a moment. We're going to start with the longsword. Yeah, let's do the longsword. I'm going to ready up. I suggest... So you unlock more maps the more you play. I suggest that you practice on the beach because from my experience, the beach has the least amount of foreground clutter. So you don't have to worry about the enemy AI moving behind something. The beach is clear. It's nice. And you can set up a bot. You can set up multiple bots if you want. We're going to put them on the enemy team. We're going to give them... Is it the longsword? Yeah, it's the longsword. So he's going to be good to go. Let's just jump right in. And where's my cursor at? Am I blind? Where? Okay, there it is. Okay, let's go. So pretty straightforward. This is how you practice. You're going to want to read the enemy's attacks. And the best way to do it is just by letting them attack you and watching the way their sword moves. Right? So it's the dumb AI. So they take a little bit of time to get warmed up. Yeah, real predictable. But it's really helpful to do this because you can clearly see which angle... wow, that was a whiff. You can clearly see which angle they're swinging in at. And then you can get used to being able to read that specific weapon's attacks, which makes parrying them easier. He's not even in range. This poor guy. Let's step a little closer. He's scared. My dude. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna... Oh, that was a low. He just jumped there. Yeah. So the more you just kind of sit in an encounter with a bot, the better you'll get at being able to read each weapon's swings. Well, he got me with the underhand there. But, yeah. Let's get back out there. And then, of course, you can just, take out the enemies pretty quickly, too. There you go. Nothing crazy. But that's my suggestion. Let's back out of this. That's my suggestion for how to generally get better at the game. You can mod each AI with, a different weapon. Like, say, if I'm feeling pretty confident about being able to read longswords, okay, well, let's try to improve my skill against reading the pole hammer or is that a long sword? Wait, did he have the short? Oh, he might have already had the short sword. Yeah, so he was using the short sword. I say practice against the long sword before the short sword because the short sword is kind of OP right now, and I'll talk about that in a minute as well. So let's see. Let's talk about dead zones. Okay, so weapons like the mace right here and the pole hammer have dead zones, where if you're too close to the enemy and you swing, you're not going to do any damage to them, because in Griefhelm, the whole weapon isn't actively dealing damage. Like in Mordhau, you can kind of get into somebody's face, and as long as they're within like striking range, you'll deal damage to them. But in this, if they're like, if you swing and say the enemy's like right here, it's not going to do any damage to them, because this is the radius that the damage is going to impact. And same thing with the mace. If he's swinging out here and the dude's right here, it's just going to go right over them and not do any damage. Even underhands don't do that. So you want to take that into consideration, and that's why hopping in the encounters mode is ideal, because it gives you the opportunity to readily play with and against certain weapon types. So that's the key to learning how to read weapons and how to fight with weapons too. Another cool thing about playing the encounters is when you successfully go through the different game modes, you get the chance to fight a champion at the end of an encounter. And if you defeat the champion, you either unlock a new map, you unlock a new piece of armor, or you unlock a new weapon. So the more encounters you play, the more likely you are to meet a champion who has something that you haven't unlocked yet. So I suggest one of the first things that you do, even before really going too far into the campaign, is just grind in the encounters mode. Grind and get the maps, get the weapons, get the armor, find out what works for you, and go from there. So right now I'm gonna go into the multiplayer lobby because I just want to run around and show some weapon maneuver stuff, like attack patterns and just things to generally keep in mind while you play. And there's because the game's not live yet, there hasn't really been anybody in these lobbies, so this is where I've been like practicing my stances and stuff. I don't know, when the game comes out, I'm sure it won't be like, this won't really be a viable option because there'll probably be other people actively playing, but for now this is what I've been doing. So you can morph in Griefhelm. It's kind of difficult and I haven't quite mastered it yet, but the trick is you start in one. So okay, let's just go from the beginning. Lower strike, boom, that's the lower strike. No matter what you do, it's always gonna be that kind of arc with the swing, right? But if you start in the lower stance and you can switch it, boom, you see how that went? I was in the low stance, but I stabbed. And if I can do it just right, no, it's really difficult to do. There we go. So you see how I started down low and then I ended up doing an overhead swing. That's predictably going to be an overhead. When you're walking at them in that stance, they know the overhead's coming. But you start down low and then you hit them with the morph, right? So all I'm doing is I'm holding down on the right control stick, and then I'm quickly just kind of clockwise spinning up from, so I'm holding the control stick down, like think of a clock, right? I'm holding it at 6 o'clock right now. I'm going to quickly rotate it clockwise, and about at 11 o'clock is when I'm going to attack, and that's how you morph. See that? You pull the trigger when the control stick gets to like 11 o'clock. That was about 9 o'clock. It's very difficult. The developer, I did a little research, and the developer said this is how you morph, okay? When you initiate an attack, you can change direction in 0.2 seconds. So you have 0.2 seconds to redirect your control stick to the angle that you want. So if you want to keep it low, boom, just pull the trigger. If you want to do a stab, swing up to 9 o'clock, pull the trigger. If you want to morph to an overhead, go up to 11 o'clock, pull the trigger. It works both ways, but I suggest you really practice this because you can really catch people off guard. It's so quick. They'll be thinking, oh, he's going to go for the legs, and then boom. Oh, actually, see, I didn't even do it right. There you go. But that's morphing for you. Practice, practice, practice. There's another move that I found that is kind of an exploit. All right, it's kind of an exploit, but it involves jumping. Let's see if I can do it. So jumping is the left bumper, right? Okay. Oh man, it's so tough to do for me. Jump and then you kick. There you go. So you move backwards, you jump, and then, man, when you're moving backwards and you jump kick, your character model stops dead, right? So you can kind of bait somebody. I'm gonna try to do it again. There you go. You see how you just stop? It's like you defy physics. And so you can kind of bait somebody to move behind you, and then you just stop, and then they run right into your foot, and then you can hit them with a quick attack, right? So I'm gonna try to keep doing it so you can see what I'm talking about. Move back, jump, kick. It's like momentum just doesn't exist for you. Well, that was the swing. There you go. You practice doing this, and you can really catch other players off guard. It's tough. It's tough. This is not an easy game, all right? But that's the only real kind of useful exploit that I've discovered. There you go. I'll do a long one so you can see how it looks. There you go. So yeah, this is just my practice room, right? So I mentioned that the short sword is pretty OP right now, and what am I gonna do? Should I do horde? Let's do horde. Let's make sure so I've got the short sword. You can tell it's a short sword because he's only holding it in one hand. The long sword he holds in two hands, but the short sword, it's really fast and it can kill just as well as the long sword in my experience. There might be stats that contradict that, but from playing the campaign and just playing encounters against bots, 2 hits kills him just as well as 2 hits with the longsword does. So the longsword is easy to read, right? The stab animation is one thing. Underhand is a sweep. Overhead is an overhead sweep. It's all very easy to read. But the short sword, its underhand and stab animations are very, very similar. I'll show it to you right now so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So, okay, so this is regular, right? It's just kind of a swing out and then low. Like, when that comes in, you don't know if that's going to be mid or what. See, I killed that guy with one hit. See, there's the mid. I'll do it one more time. And then underhand. Like, until that sword is all the way... Oh, jeez. Got him. There we go. Until that sword is like halfway up their body, they don't know that that's an underhand, right? Because just look at the way like the elbow moves. You can't tell. And it's so fast. Oh, he's got a little mace here. Oh, they got me. Oh, I got him. I got them both. I thought I was dead. How about that? So yeah, if you want, in my opinion, the best weapon in the game right now, it's gonna be the short sword. You're gonna want to use a short sword. Now, when it comes to fighting other players, so AI is one thing. Other players are a whole other ball game, because AI can see what you're doing regardless of where you are, right? So let's do a match in the woods here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So there's foreground obstacles, which is why I like fighting at the beach. Let's try to find a tree. Come on, where's the tree at? Okay, let's kill this guy real quick. There we go. There's usually trees and stuff that you can kind of hide behind. Yeah, like right here. Whatever. Oh, jeez. Whatever pose. Oh my god. They're coming at me so fast. Oh, he got me. So I was trying to find one of these trees that you can stand in front of to prove that the AI... Oh, see, this is what I'm talking about. You play the encounters and champions randomly show up. So let's see if I can beat this guy. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's see what I get. Oh, he's got a spear. I've never fought against... Oh my god. I haven't fought against a spear before, so I have no idea how to read this. he's got the reach. There we go. I got him. Man, the short sword is so fast. If you double tap the trigger, you can get 2 hits in really quickly. There you go. See how I got those 2 hits in like 1, 2? That's what I'm talking about. You do that with the short sword, very few things will stop you. Oh, I just I couldn't see and I impaled myself. There you go. I just killed him with the double attack. I impaled myself on that spear. So he's gonna, now that he's defeated, I'm gonna get something from this guy. Oh, I guess not. Oh, okay, I unlocked the crypts. That's the map I was just fighting in. Okay, cool. So there you go. You just saw how to unlock things live. What was I talking about? Deadzones, short swords, strong. Oh crap, I forget what I was talking about. Oh yeah, I remember. I'm sorry. The the AI, it'll always see you, but enemy players won't, right? So what you're gonna want to do is use objects like trees in the foreground, any kind of object that's in the foreground, and you can quickly switch. You can like pass through them, right? And you can switch your stance and attack before the enemy human player can see that you switch stances. You know what I'm saying? So like you can kind of use it as like a visual shield for yourself. And if you do that, you can catch enemy players off guard. And also you should consider, let's show it here. So consider using armor that has capes, right? So this, I mean, you know, these might look cool. I don't know why it's like riding up the guy. Oh, I guess it's torn. It just looks like he's got a wedgie right there, but it's just the way that the cloth is cut. If you wear a cape like such, it can help you kind of disguise how your hand's moving for, you know, particular underhands or overhands. And a trick that I've found that is pretty useful. Oh wait, I unlocked the spear too. I unlocked the level and the guy's spear. How about that? A combo that I really like, that I think will work really well on enemy human players, is to swing overhead, right? And then as soon as the overhead ends, begin an underhand, because if you raise your hand over your head, right, and you kind of like do an overhead swing motion, your hand kind of ends at about the spot that an underhand would start at, right? But the enemy player is going to be like, oh, they just did an overhead. I'm good for a second. Well, no, you initiate the underhand while your sword's down there, and then boom, you're swinging that sword back up before they know that you're ready to attack again. So keep that in mind when you're fighting enemy players. I'll probably hop back in a couple days or so and do some multiplayer videos. Also, there's horses in this game. They're crazy, and I haven't played them enough to really feel confident in giving advice on how to fight with them. But consider, you know, in the future, there's going to be some multiplayer and some horse battle videos. I'm really excited to see where Griefhelm goes. I've really liked it so far. It's kind of a nice little arcade break from the blood, sweat, and tears of Mordhau. But, you know, I'm interested to see how this game grows. And the devs have a lot of content planned out. You can check it out on Steam. There's a link in the video description. But that's going to do it. I hope any of this helped. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Be happy to chat with you about the game, what I think about it, etc. If you like the video, please be sure to subscribe to catch more Griefhelm videos, all sorts of other indie games all throughout the week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.